The number of people detained on the southern border is greater than in 2014. That's when we saw a big surge of immigrants enter the valley. This is a visual representation created with CBP data. It shows 2014 at the top of this chart and 2019 at the bottom. You can see the number is greater so far in this fiscal year than in 2014. Those entering legally and illegally are represented here. The number is for all ports of entry along the U.S.-Mexico border. Families with young children are among those who continue to come in. Many will end up passing through the respite center. That's where a group of researchers went to learn about the trauma these families experienced. Channel 5's Valerie Gonzalez shares their findings.
The recent influx of immigrant families heading into the U.S. prompted researchers to assess their levels of trauma. They found the trauma they experienced was beyond their charts.
What we don't see in these blocks of color are the people who make them up. Each one has a story. Many of those stories are tainted with violence.
Not just one event, but multiple events, right? Let alone traveling thousands of miles with a child or two at hand and being exposed to additional migratory, trauma.
Dr. Mercado collaborated from UTRGV with another researcher from Sam Houston University. They decided to study immigrant families. Some were here at the respite center in McAllen. Others were immigrant teens interviewed at a school. One of the key findings was that the researchers' scoring system was exceeded.
Meaning that these trauma symptoms that they reported and that we assessed for are at a higher level, right? Are striking. The numbers are striking. Comparable to the numbers that we see in research that's being conducted in countries where the youth are in an actual war zone.
Dr. Mercado said over 60% of the youth exceeded the cutoff score. Researchers also found the health of a child was often linked to the health of mom or dad.
There was a connection between parent health and children health, meaning that if, the parents exhibited, high rates of trauma exposure and trauma symptoms, we saw the same effect in their children.
Aside from the negative effects, a positive trend emerged, the theme of resiliency.
Many of them have experienced many drastic events in their life that neither you or I could ever imagine. Right, so their level of resiliency and strength and health, is at a, we could say is at a more, healthier level in some ways.
These studies are expected to help researchers better capture data that will lead to a better understanding of this population. The hope is to be able to extract the data and translate it into better treatment options.
Dr. Mercado says they found certain Latino cultural values like family, sympathy, and respect had a protective factor that helped build a shield around them that helped reduce impact for some of the trauma. In the studio, Valerie Gonzalez, Channel 5 News at 6.